Over the past couple of months and even up until last week, Bob Stefanowski summer tour campaign stats have been squarely focused on inflation and the economy. Well, last Thursday, Stefanowski turned his attention to Connecticut's prisons. He headed to the prison in Cheshire, calling for both staffing reforms and infrastructure improvements at the aging prison. Stefanowski and others have said Cheshire is lacking adequate water supply and air conditioning. Watch this.
In the short term, I don't know why this afternoon Governor Lamont couldn't go to Home Depot and buy 30 standalone units and get them in there. That's what I'd do if I were governor. I'd hop in my black SUV, or better yet, I'd hop in my pickup truck. I'd go to Home Depot, just like we did with the mass when Governor Lamont didn't provide it, and I'd have them at the front gate by the end of business today. That's what this governor should be doing. Not making excuses, not limiting access, not ignoring the pleas for help, but get his tail up here and get some units in there.
Well, News 8 asked the Department of Corrections about access to showers and air conditioning at Cheshire Correction, and they told us all the units are fully operational and individuals have regular access to showers. When asked about staffing issues, Governor Lamont said this.
We do have a lot of corrections officers doing double shifts, and that's no fair to them, and that's why we're prioritizing getting more people hired as quickly as we can.
As for Stefanowski's claim that he's been shot down by the Lamont administration on request for tours of the correction facilities, Chief of Staff Paul Mounds tells News 8, I have reviewed with all division heads, and no one in our office has ever had any kind of discussion with Mr. Stefanowski or his representatives on this matter. Additionally, the policy to prohibit prison visits for individuals running for public office predates the Lamont administration and has been in policy under multiple state administrations. Guys, McKinney, what's up here with this shift in Stefanowski to start messaging prisons? I can't imagine that really comes up much on the campaign trail.
Well, I mean, he can't win sometimes. He talks about inflation, he talks about the economy, he talks about his plan to help small businesses and cut taxes, and people say, why aren't you talking about other issues? Bob's talking about a lot of different issues, and this is an important one. You know, I spent 16 years in the state Senate, and I represented the Garner Correctional Facility in Newtown. I've been to almost every prison in the state of Connecticut, including York, which is our women's prison. These corrections officers are doing an incredibly hard job, and they're really good at it. And if they're in really bad conditions, that's bad on the state of Connecticut. So Bob's pointing out the fact that if he were governor, he would make sure that the conditions for our corrections officers is better than it currently is, and I think that's a fair issue.
Look, I worked with the men and women that do that job for 24 years. What they do is incredibly difficult. My uncle was a deputy warden. It is a hard job. Not many of us would want to do it, but the complexities of the department are very unique too. He talks about the double shifts and the overtime, and John, as long as we were there, every single year it came as a budget item that we had to add more money in for the overtime. Many of these workers depend on that overtime to make ends meet. Some of them actually abused the system in the past. We had six-figure earners, $180,000 a year. They were doing so much overtime, and it wasn't good for them. The average life expectancy of a corrections officer is in the mid-50s. I just lost two of my friends that did it for many years. It is a tough job. But that right there was, I believe the endorsement either came or is coming from the corrections officer. Bob wanted to show up and say he had their back. You could always pick out little items, but if you really want to get things done, approach the governor, have the conversation, go to DOC. As you said, I've been almost to every prison in the state. A lot are very nice facilities for what they are.
Well, I do think we're going to have to get to the bottom of the controversy at some point, because as I understand it, Bob Stefanowski did fill out the form that we all have to fill out to go visit the prisons. He did pass the background check on that, and according to the local union leader at the Correctional Institute, Bob was admitted to go in, and it was the governor's office that canceled his trip. So we have to look into that.
Yeah, I know that we've tried to do it before, and when we scheduled the visits, it was always right after the election. It wasn't prior to or in an election year. If that policy exists, as they say it does make sense of what my experience was.
Right, more to come, guys. Next on Capital Report, America's love affair with a Choco Taco. Who knew? And what does this have to do with politics? We'll answer that very question when we get back. Don't go away.